I'm Lee Wright. I'm the founder of the History List. I'm excited to tell you about something new that we're offering, and we're here to talk with the person who created it, Andy Volpe.
Hi, I'm Andy Volpe. I'm an artist, printmaker, and living historian presenter. And this year, marking the 250th anniversary of the Boston Massacre, I have taken on the project of making an exact size replica of Paul Revere's Boston Massacre print. They did that is in 1770. In 1775, he reuses the plate and he cuts off the top margin and the bottom verse, so it's just the image. And on the back of it, he engraves promissory notes or banknotes, and that's how the plate is left. So I was able to get a restrike of that to do the image, and then I had to reconstruct all the wording. So this is fully hand engraved. I have to use a hand tool on a copper plate on a balanced on a sandbag to pivot it. So every single line that's in this print is hand cut into the copper plate. This is the exact same thing that Paul Revere does.
So let me give folks an idea. So this is actually a restrike from the original plate. And this is what Andy's created. And so you can see how closely it's done, how the great craftsmanship, and then cut off here, but Andy added here this text. Now, Andy, you've done more than that too.
Yep. So some of these prints were hand colored by different artists, not by Paul Revere. So basically, you go to Paul Revere and you buy the print from him, and then you find an artist, somebody like Christian Remick, who's one of the artists that works with Paul Revere, and he paints these. In this one, this coloring is copied after the original in the American Antiquarian Society, and I copied the coloring off of that. I was able to look at the original as part of the project. So every single one of these that is colored is all done by my hand. So they're not, I try to get them exactly the same, but.
So Andy, how long did it take to engrave this?
I lost count after about 60 hours of work. We think Paul Revere is able to engrave his in about 2 weeks, and he prints pretty quickly. We think he prints about 200 of them. Each time I print one of these off with copper plate, it's about 15 minutes from start to finish. And then coloring them is about half an hour to 45 minutes, depending on what I'm doing.
And Andy, they're all numbered?
Yeah, I did an edition of 250 for the 250th anniversary. So they're numbered and signed.
So let's talk a little bit about the history behind this. So talk to us about Henry Pelham, who he is and why that matters.
So there's a gentleman by the name of Henry Pelham. He's an engraver elsewhere in Boston, and he creates this image first, and he calls his the Fruits of Arbitrary Power, or the Bloody Massacre. And Revere copies it, and if you look really carefully at the print, Revere adds a little sign above the troops, the 20th Regiment of Foot, called Butcher's Hall. So he changes the image just slightly, makes it his own sort of interpretation, retitles it to the Bloody Massacres perpetrated in King Street by the 20th Regiment of Foot, and he adds this vitriolic poetry against the incident that is kind of his thing. And then I added my own little note on the bottom stating that I have done this as a replica.
And Andy, you mentioned earlier that the plate was used for currency, to print currency. Now, my understanding is that that's one of the reasons why the plate still probably exists. Is that right?
Yeah, that's how we think it's remained in existence. So during the Revolutionary War, in 1775, when Revere gets commissioned to print paper money, he when he's done printing them, when he loses the contract, he has to damage the image of the plate, and then they hide them in the state archives. And it's not until I think it's the 1820s or 30s, somebody's in the archives and they discover this plate that has banknotes on it, and they turn it around and they realize, wait a minute, this is the Boston Massacre. It's actually this.
Yeah. So let me.
Yeah.
I'll just. So this is a restrike. This is from the original plates. So this is in my own collection. We're not offering that, but we are offering this engraved by hand that Andy created, and then this hand colored that Andy colored. So very exciting. Thanks very much, Andy. Really appreciate it. I think folks are going to love this. Thanks.
Thank you.